So what I've done is set my G-decking up off the G-decking down below. This is how versatile this G-decking is. It's so good, look. And I've got two left. So what I've done is set the G-decking up down below for the next lift. Then set the G-decking up here so I can actually then get the petrol saw and the wet feed. I'm going to run it all the way down and then I'll start doing this demo through here, which is going to be really good. Once I've done that, I can then start to tooth out on the inner and outer levers we're building up, and then all I'm going to do is then carry on doing the demo down below. So here we go, feel nice and safe, which is great, so happy days. If ever you're out and you want to buy a masonry saw that's portable, this is the only saw that you should buy. Don't buy anything else. These are absolutely brilliant. And if you want a flatbed one, then go and check out my Australian mate. BT Engineering if you want a stable one, absolutely brilliant. Mobile one, Stihl, nothing else. BT and Stihl, they're the names to remember. Not Hilti, not Makita, not Hasavana. I have done is I've only done my cut to a certain depth, haven't gone all the way down, to be very unsafe then. I've got this down now. You can actually see how much uneven the whole floor is. Look at this. Like that. Like from the joist here, about 10, 11 mil. I think it's worse here. Look at that. And that's how the old floor was. Look at that all the way through. I can actually get my hands underneath this. Look at that, my fingers. Can't on this one. I broke this playing rugby. What I'll probably end up doing is tweaking a little bit here. Coming down to the second one here. Dropping down a fraction, and then dropping that down a fraction as well, because I can see it's a little bit high. And then I'll then have to then work along each of these joists, and then when the steel goes in, the slots in, it will then lift everything level. But it's going to be a right cake, it really is. But you know, it's all part of the job, isn't it? So I've now cut away that side, cut away this side. I've just got to break this out now, which I'm going to do, and then it's ready then for the brickers. Pete's getting all the cuts done over there, which is really good, so they can go through on the slips, and then they can be then bedded tomorrow, and then the outside wall insulation, then the outside wall can be done as well. So. So Wednesday morning, Alex and Bill are just cracking on with the brickwork. What I'm doing now is I'm just moving some of the acrows around, which I've just done. Screwed a bit of timber here, screwed a bit of timber on the other end where Alex is at the moment. And the reason I'm doing this is because instead of actually just then taking the measurement of the steel, I want to actually then take a load of lines and get all of the measurements of the steel, so then I'm not then getting held up later on because of losing a couple of days in production because the steel is a little bit delayed, something to do with the steel mill. Don't quite know what. Has anybody else had those issues? But we're having them at the moment with our supplier. So if I can get all of these measurements to the center of the steels, what that allows me to do is then hopefully pull back a couple of days, because I know I'm going to lose a couple of days. If you've noticed, we've got slips going on all the way around here at the moment, which the lads are doing. And the reason we're doing that is because the client wants the top of the frame to become level then with the plasterboard, so it runs through all seamlessly on the project itself, which is going to be really nice. You can see here, this datum point when we bed the actual lintels on is going to come on the same line to the top of this steel. So that means all the plasterboard, the 5-line board is going to run all the way through, come to then the top of this frame here. So it allows more light to then come into the property. Yesterday we set all the G-decking up, just makes life so much easier to be able to move around and get the relevant block work up. The other thing we have done, we're going to be cutting out the floorboard there, so we're going to run a string line parallel off the wall here. Then to that point we're going to run a string line from that steel there to this steel over here, set that on there as well. So basically I can get all my datum points correct. It's really, really important. I do the string lines to the center of the steel beams, which allows me then to work off everything from that point then. So the steel's going to sit like that, you see guys. I've got that now exactly where I want it. Job done. Happy with that, that looks lovely as well. So all I've got to do now is get the other line across and then center, do all my measurements off the existing walls as well to make sure I'm happy. Job done. So I'm really happy. I've got originally the line coming across from center steel to the center steel over there. That's all in place. The measurement is absolutely perfect for what I want it to be. This line, as you can see, is actually to the left-hand side of that flange. And the reason it's to the left-hand side of the flange is just that's the way the cap plate detail interacts with that steel. So we need to make sure we're going onto a true line of the center of the actual steel. And what happens is I've then run it across here, paralleled off the building here of the existing. We know that's slightly adrift. I've then taken the line all the way through to this point over to here. You can see what I've done is done a makeshift couple of blocks and a piece of nice straight timber. And then what I've done is I've measured then this line across over to here, and it's at 10 mil out. Now I'm not worried about that. The simple reason being is that when this connection steel comes into here, it doesn't have any significant bearing. You know, we know that that building is slightly adrift, so I'm really happy with that measurement. It's slightly adrift, and all I've got to do now is from this will then represent the center of all of my steel. So I can now take all the measurements from the back of that up post there, the stand post here, the back of this stand post over here. I can then give all these measurements then to Jody, go and see him, draw it all out. Then I can have all of the steels in one hit, so then hopefully I'll get that couple of days back what I need, because I know that I would have lost them in the production of the steel at the moment. So what I've drawn here is just a rough piece of what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a measurement from that flange now, and I'll actually take the measurement just from the front of the weld. You can actually see on that detail over there, you see those are the details that I've already connected in. So you can see they're just in front of the weld. So I'll get the guy to hold the tape just in front of the welds again, and then take the measurement to the center then of this orange line that's running here, because that represents the center of my steel. And then Jody can then obviously take out the thickness of the central flange here, which will then allow him then to give his true measurement. I think this central flange here that goes in the vertical part of the beam is about 14 mil, so he'll end up taking 7 mil off this measurement, and then that will then be the detail that we then need. So we're going to start now putting these all onto here. Okay guys, for 206 mil. The next steels that I'm going to put in, I'm going to hook them over the back of the block, because that's going to be my bearing. Run it over to then the line here. So here we go, look guys, here we go. 2.6, exactly 2.6 to the center of the steel. So this steel here is 2600, and that's including bearing, because I know and I'll just put on their centres so I know all the time, okay? Just going to take this other measurement now from the back of that block work there. So level of the line is about here, so the back of the block. Run it all the way across, here like that. That's my line, there you go, look at that, 4740. Right, I'm going to go and see Jodie now and get those ordered up. The one thing I'm going to do is, you can see, look, when you go over here, and that's the centre of the steel, so I'm going to step back and 10 mil, and then that'll be my cut line all the way through. So just plumbing them all up now. Obviously that picture of that roof is 27 degrees, isn't it?
You've strapped it to the feet lift.
Drum roll. Is it? Let me have a look. Oh my god. Look at that, guys. Look at that. That's beautiful. Absolutely spot level. Look at that. That is level. We got the water tank arriving. The client, part of the way through the project, said, look, Tone, I know it's going to be a variation order, a VO. You guys are asking about what a VO is. A variation order is when it's outside the estimate that we originally priced. So the additional work. So the client asked for a VO because obviously where the region that we're in, there's quite a lot of water shortages, and last year he was then short of water feeding all the plants and all the vegetables in the back garden. So what we're going to do is we've got this down to have a load of extra water going to be pumped out. It's about 2,000 litre in the cylinder, so we cool. There we go. Okay. Yep. Okay. Got it.